Just wondering, your overall thoughts on Arkansas, and then Eric Musselman said he really, they have the ability to go on runs. He calls it spurt ability. Just wondering what you've seen from that and looking at tape of them and stuff.
I think that's exactly the games I've watched, and if you're obviously if you're covering them, you're following them, and even from their exhibitions where the other teams are playing well and have some control of the game. And then all of a sudden that 5-minute spurt where they get the team sped up and, get on one of those runs, 10-0 runs. I just watched late. We were just talking about it as a staff. I watched the Mercer game and, boom, 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 5 bad possessions, 5 scores for Arkansas, and the game's totally changed. And they have versatility. They have athleticism. They got a lot of people that can score. They, defensively, they'll throw a lot of different things at you to kind of create, a little bit of chaos. I think, it's different than Press Virginia or something like that, where you're a constant press. But this is just kind of, they'll switch everything. They'll run and jump you. They'll take away side out of bounds. And it's like those key possessions are the things that have been big difference makers for them. So they, it's that they got, like I said, they have talent, they have athleticism. They got a lot of different people that can make plays for them, both on both ends of the court.
And then JD Note, I guess he's number one. He has a lot to do with that spurt ability, getting steals or finishing on the other end. Just wonder what your thoughts are on him. Then I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, again, very, very versatile. You bring up the steals. He's the leader by far. Double the next guy. He can score in boom, quick fashion. He also is, 11 assists, 3 turnovers. That's pretty good for anybody. He'll go and get some rebounds for them and make plays, and then the little guy is, obviously had the big game in the last game, and they shot the ball well and really gave them, some great pop off the bench. When you got a guy coming off the bench averaging 15 points a game, that can change games. And I think when you talk about spurt ability and whatever you want to call it, that's why when you got people like that coming off the bench that can really change things. The other thing is their big kid, their leading assist guy is their big guy, 17-5. Usually if you look at big guys assist turnovers, it's usually totally the other way, maybe 3-17. But, he creates because he, I guess, not a true big man, but he passes it well. They cut off of him, and he's even a good skip passer. When people start playing weak side defense, loading up, he'll skip that thing for an open 3 for somebody.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Bob. Other questions for Bruce Weber? Next question to Andrew Hutchinson.
Hey, Coach, I know it's kind of a small sample size, just 2 games in, but y'all have shot it really well from 3, and Arkansas has maybe struggled to defend the perimeter. Is that something you hope you might be able to take advantage of this game?
Yeah, hopefully. And I've said since the beginning with our guys that I really believe we're a good shooting team, but you're going to have to do it in the game, and you're going to have to do it consistently. And, just from our workouts from the spring, summer, fall, all our challenges, our shooting challenges, we've shot it well. And so I hope it's a strength of ours. And now you still got to make the right passes to get those threes. And I think Mercer did a great job of getting into the paint, jump stopping, and then take the Arkansas guys. They seem to be aggressive toward the ball, and that allowed the easy kickouts for the open threes. You got to make them, but they had open threes. Same thing, Northern Iowa just kept the ball moving side to side. And then sooner or later, got into the paint to create an open 3 for somebody. So it just, I hope it's a factor. I know just listening, our coaches listening, Coach Musselman's press conferences, it's something that he feels they have to make some adjustment to. And the other teams are shooting 33 threes a game and making 43%. Now they're shooting 40. So that's, I mean, anybody be happy with 40, but when you're giving up 43, it's allowed other teams to really stay in games.
Next question, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name, Scotty Bordelon, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, that was perfect. Nigel Pax had a strong start to the season for you. It's just, what in your opinion does he do well when he's playing well, and what kind of makes him unique?
Well, he had a really good freshman year. I think our staff was, I know he was disappointed he didn't get as much recognition, but it kind of goes back, if you don't have success as a team, you don't get quite the acknowledgement. But he had a great finish to our season last year. Really stepped it up after sitting out with COVID for a stretch in the middle. He's continued that even with a setback of an injury here in the fall. But he just has a great feel, a great pace to the game. Indiana kid, grew up, Indiana high school basketball, great fundamentals. Can really shoot the basketball, knows how to get open. And I think he's a little more confident, a couple times, and we're going to get some switches. The other night, they couldn't stop us. So they just decided to switch everything. And he just took that 5, and a year ago probably would have, froze and not done anything, played aggressive, drove it at him, backed it up, hit an open 3. So assist turnover is really, really good. It was great last year. He's continued doing that. Just does a lot of good things for us.
Okay. Next question to Nate Allen.
Yeah, Coach, just with Ismail, your transfer from Wake Forest, I guess against Omaha, he made a big difference. Just kind of what has he brought to your team?
Well, one, he's long. He is a true, at least 6'8", probably 6'9". And if you watch him shoot the basketball, he has a really high release, and he's a great shooter. We just got to find ways to get him open shots. And if you followed our team, it's one thing I've said, we got good shooters, we got to get them open shots. And if we a key is taking care of the basketball. The other day, Arkansas has 21 assists and 5 turnovers. We're 18 assists, 16 turnovers. And I don't want that to be a difference in the game. But if we get open shots, and he does, he'll make them. He's if he has a lot like Nigel. And then even if you get somebody flying at him, he's got a real nice high release. And so he can shoot the ball with great accuracy. I think we can post him up a little bit also. He has to get a little more aggressive and physical in the paint, maybe some putbacks, things like that will help advance his game.
Thank you.
Next question to Scott Beatty, excuse me.
Thank you. And hi, Bruce. Greetings from Scott Beatty here at WDWS in Champaign. So greetings from everyone here that remembers you well. And obviously a possibility that you'll match up with Illinois if things go well for both teams on Monday night. Just your thoughts on playing Illinois and Brad Underwood playing against his alma mater.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate the acknowledgement. And it could be the other way too. If we both have bad nights, we could play each other too. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But it would be, obviously I could lie to you and tell you it's not going to be an emotional game. No Brad well, no, obviously no Illinois well. Chester Fraser, my old former player and assistant, is there now. But the bigger picture is that, they're a top team in the country. And I know they lost the other night, but you didn't have your big fella. And, they're gonna be a top 20 team, I would think, all year. I anticipate that at least. So it's a great opportunity for our team if we get to that point to play a quality opponent, a top 20 opponent that you see what we're at, where we're at as a team, and that's the most important thing. I'm just worried about our team. Obviously, like it'll be a little different too. You're playing on a neutral court. You were playing if Brad was coming back to Bramlage, it would be one thing, or if we were going to Champaign, it would be another thing for us, for me at least. But you got a neutral court. It's just you see the tournaments on last night, Myrtle Beach, and then the Charleston tournament. It's always that fun time. Thanksgiving, hoops festival, and we'll be part of that, and hopefully play some good opponents.
And then fans in Champaign remember Mark Smith for 1 year here, and just how you got connected to him and what drew you to bring him to Kansas State.
Actually, I think we were the first one to offer him, first high level team to offer him. If you know his history, he was a baseball player, committed to Missouri in baseball. I think, baseball guys always commit early. I think a little bit of an injury that, set back his baseball career, had a great senior year. I remember going at Christmas time to watch him, when we were visiting our kids in St. Louis. We offered him right after that. We recruited him pretty hard. When he left Illinois, his family called us. We went there at the semester to talk with him. We said, please, wait, we'll have a scholarship. But he got a little panicked, and he knew Missouri, and obviously Conzo, had recruited him also. So, we were happy he had 3 good years there. But after, when his other teammates left, Mark, we were the first one to call. We said, hey, us, either you're coming or you're not. And we didn't really have to recruit him. And, happy to have him. Gives us an experienced guy. He wants to keep his game, improving. And he's been really good for us so far, just as a great teammate, and he's a good player.
Bruce, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Good to see you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next question to Michael Goins.
Yeah, Bruce, how do you limit the turnovers?
I was pretty happy at halftime. We were only at 5. Then you look at Arkansas and they have 5 in a game. I just, a lot of them were down the stretch, or not a lot of them, but in the second half, you probably had 4 or 5 down the stretch. So I'm looking on the bright side that, that we made a little of improvement on that, even though the numbers didn't show it. Just valuing the ball, not trying to make a play every time you touch it. And it's going to be key when you play better opponents. There's no doubt. And again, I said earlier, and I've said it all along, we need to get shots off. And I think if we got a pretty good percentage, 50 the other day and almost 40 from 3. You take half those turnovers off and get shots. Now you're adding, at least 8 to 10 more points just by average. So it could be a nice boost for us. So we've talked about it in practice. I think we really have made some improvement in practice, and that's where it all starts. But now it's got to continue into the games.
Where are you with defensive concepts this early in the season?
At times we're really good. Again, they scored 13 out of the last 15 points the other night. So the score shouldn't have had that many points, and that's a little disappointing. Wish our guys would have kept their focus on the mission and finished the game. But we do some things well. I was worried about post defense after Pitt State. I think that big guy kind of took it to us, but we've done a better job the last 2 games with that. Ball screen defense is always tough. It's tough for everybody, and we're good at it at times. We got to get over ball screens. We can't let people get downhill and get in the paint because it creates havoc for everybody. And then the other night they did make some threes. And I know some of them were down the stretch. But, I think it's one thing we've always done pretty good about getting our hands up and contesting those threes. Hopefully we'll continue to make some progress with that.
And last one, where was Davion Bradford before, condition-wise, before his pneumonia? And how long is it going to take to be back 100%?
Wyatt and Matt asked after the game, and I would say, and I sat with him yesterday, Coach Lowry, myself, our strength coach, just kind of, talking to him about how we can take some steps. He needs practice. Practice helped him last week. We had 4 days in a row, and now you're not going to have quite the, number of days of practice. You got more games coming up. So I would say I'm hoping by mid-December, we'll have him where we get him back to where he's, closer to where he should be. And, really feel 100% by Christmas time. And that's obviously if there's no other setbacks.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yep.
Next question to Grant Flanders.
Hey, Coach, you out-rebounded Omaha by 12. I'm wondering if that gives you confidence in that department.
It's something, and it's going to be a big key. If you look at the stats, it's been Arkansas is +8 on rebounds and averaging almost 4 more offensive rebounds a game. They spread you out. They got a lot of weapons. They'll put that 3 ball up. They'll put up quick shots, and you got to get those long rebounds. It's going to be key to stay in front of them, contest shots, and then limit them to one shot. Mark has been a nice surprise with the rebounding. Selton, a year ago, in practice about Christmas time, I asked him if he's ever going to get a rebound for our team, and he's really gotten better. Rebounding the basketball. He might be second on the team. If you look at, I haven't looked at the total stats yet, but and then Casey and Davion. They got to make sure they're not explosive jumpers, but they got to make sure they're boxing out to give themselves to get, each of them. We get 11 between them the other night. That's pretty good for, a combo group. You add Logan into that group, you have another couple. So I hope it becomes a strength. We will definitely be emphasizing it. It's one of our keys in the game the next couple days in practice as we prepare.
You talk about Mark's rebounding, but he also seems to do a lot on the floor. I want to talk specifically about his playmaking. It seems like guys are really good off the ball, and he's just really good at finding guys already early on.
He threw one that it almost killed a fan in the stands the other day, but he did one of his fastballs at about 90 miles an hour and missed everybody. And hopefully that guy didn't get hurt when it went in the stands. But, it's one of the things when he came here, he said, Coach, I want to have a chance to make some plays. And we told him we will as long as he takes care of it. He's had some good passes. He's got that big body. He can get by people if he gets his body on people. He can, as long as he makes the right decisions, and that's what hopefully that makes us really versatile. I talk about Arkansas being versatile with all their guard play and guys that can make plays. I hope it's also one of our strengths. You got obviously Nigel, Marquise have been pretty good assist turnovers. And you add Mark, Mike, and Selton to that group. That's a nice, versatile team that can make plays for each other.
And then last one I got is Selton, his driving ability seemed next level compared to what he was able to do last season. So, is that all the accumulation of the work he put in the offseason?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. Older, understanding it, getting his, being able to go both ways, advancing his game. His little pull-up is really, I told him he actually looks like a player now. So it just, it's good. And it's over the course of time, as you said, that's how you get better. You put time in, the habits in practice become your things that are your strengths and gains. And I hope that continues. And we are, as a staff, one of the things we just talked about, we got to continue to work on improvement. It's just not in the off season. You can keep getting better right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Chris.
Next question to Kellis Robinette.
Hey, Bruce. I know in the past, this is probably a matchup where you guys would have liked to slow the pace of the game down quite a bit and win, in the 60s or whatever. But with this roster, are you tempted at all to let them run?
I don't think we're going to try to outscore them 95-93. I don't think that. But, we got to take advantage when we got to get good shots. And I hope it's some out of transition. But also we got to be effective in the half court, both of them. That's what good teams do. And I think that's what Arkansas, obviously they're really good on the break. They got, as we talked about, their versatility, pushing it. A lot of guys can make plays. But at the same time, they got enough weapons to create and make plays, especially one-on-one in the half court. So, hey, if we win, if it's 55-53, I'll be happy. It's not, I just want to be on the positive side. It would be a really good win for us and a nice confidence builder moving forward, but it's not going to be easy.
And I was just curious, after you mentioned Brad Underwood earlier, is he a guy you keep in contact with, like Tom Izzo? Do you talk to him on the phone ever?
Just not, I wouldn't say, we see each other, obviously, on the road recruiting and know a lot of mutual people. A lot of our guys, that are in K-State, the former players played here with that previous staff. So they all know him. So they're, I would say we have a good relationship, but it's not like, where we went back years and years ago, like I do with Tom Izzo and Kevin Stallings, guys like that you call every week or whatever.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach.
Yep.
Any other questions for Coach? I've gotten everybody who's raised their hands.
Hey, I had one more if that's.
Oh, sure. No problem, Bob. Go ahead.
Hey, Bruce, I just wonder if you know Eric Musselman at all, and just kind of what do you think about him? Because obviously he had the pro background for so long, and now he's doing real well in college.
Yeah, actually, I had him come to Illinois and do a clinic. I think it was one of the years he was out. He might not have had a job that year. One of our former guys at Purdue years ago, Brian Cardinal, had his breakout with Coach Musselman with the Warriors. A bunch of guys got hurt, and he put Brian in there, and Brian ended up, I still remember Brian called me. I was driving. He goes, "Where are you, Coach?" "I'm driving." He said, "Pull over. I just signed an NBA contract." So, I know of his dad. I grew up in Wisconsin. When he took over Minnesota, I was a young kid, loving basketball. He had Crazy George. I think it was Crazy George, the ball handling guy. My brother had him. So I know of him. And then obviously the Nike trips and Coaches versus Cancer. His wife and him do a great job of raising funds for Coaches versus Cancer. And, just appreciate what he's done in the business over the years. And he's done it at a bunch of different levels.
Was he pretty good at the clinic, or what are your recollections of that?
Oh, he did a great job at the clinic. Yes, he did. He knows basketball, and just basketball is his life. It's his dad, and going back, and I do remember that he did a great job. And there's things I still, teaching points and little sayings and ideas that I still remember from the clinic that we used.
Anything in particular?
Just, I think that, how he does it now, the versatility, the NBA, using the ball screens and things like that. It was years ago when, ball screens were just kind of become popular in the NBA, but not as much in college. And I brought him in one year, Flip Saunders in one year. Different voices, different people, experiences. You always want those type of things.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any
We're
other-
excited, obviously, to come to Kansas City, Hall of Fame, college basketball experience. For us, I hope we have great fan support. We're going to need it. Obviously, tough competition. We're looking forward to it and appreciate you guys. Thank you.